What's up, y'all? This is Laz Alonso, and I play Mother's Milk on the Amazon Prime hit TV series The Boys. Now, what is my favorite kind of milk? Soy, almond, or cow? Honestly speaking, it's almond. Sometimes I might get a mix of almond and cashew, and I always look for the high protein version of almond milk, but it's definitely almond. Haven't drank cow's milk in years. I stay away from soy because it raises estrogen levels in men, but almond gets the job done, and I love it with pretty much everything. My protein shakes, cereals, you name it. That's what I eat with it. So listen, like, and subscribe to the Awkward Side Hug, and thank you very much. Peace.
All right, let's do this.
Super not ready. All right. Welcome to the Awkward Side Hug. My name is Brian, of course. I'm here with Steven, Lex. How was your guys' weekend?
It's fantasy football season, and does not feel like it at all. I don't know if you guys can agree to that. I was not prepared. We just had the Ash League draft, and I was definitely not prepared for it. I know tonight we have our Garage League draft, which hopefully I'm a little more prepared, but it just doesn't feel like it's football. It doesn't feel like it's back.
Do you feel like you're going to invest a lot of time and it could be taken away from you?
Yes, I'm scared that I'm going to get emotionally involved in this again. Every year, this is like, some people can say it's stupid. Some people can say it's a waste of time. But when it comes down to fantasy football, it's life or death for me. Like, it's either win or don't go home, like.
This is the most stressed out. I wake up at like 6 or 7 in the morning. I'm watching the fantasy football shows. I'm trying to figure out if there's any last minute injuries or last minute drops or whatever. And then at like right when it hits 10 o'clock Pacific time, that's when the game starts. And I'm switching through games. I got the red zone on, and I'm just like focused. I remember I was doing my master's program. You guys have your master's program this year. I was doing my master's program last year, and actually for 2 years. And I always would be like, all right, Sunday I'm going to do my homework. I would never get to it. It would always be that I'm watching football, and then it's like 11 p.m. after losing that day. I still have to get my homework assignment done because I was watching football.
Yeah, my wife already knows. Sundays from 6 in the morning until Sunday night football is over, it's basically just football all day.
Right.
It's the first, usually if they have the London games or the UK games, it's that game first in the morning, then the 10 o'clock games, grab lunch, do the afternoon games, grab dinner, watch Sunday night football, and then boom, we're back to Monday night football.
There's no London games this year, right?
Because you know what? Probably not. I would say probably not.
I'm actually I'll admit to this, is the London games are a little tricky because I'm not up at like 4 a.m. to make sure nobody's hurt, right? Going into the London games. I'm just hoping that nobody got hurt or sick or whatever on the way to their London game. But outside of that, like the 10 a.m. slots are very important.
Yeah. Shout out to everybody in the first season of the Awkward Side Hug League. It is kicked off yesterday.
Blast.
And
I don't know if he's gonna watch this, but Baca ended up dropping out of the league. I appreciate him giving us a heads up so we could find somebody else. But when we saw pictures of him at Venice Beach, it didn't look like he was doing too much. So it seemed like he could have drafted. I just want to throw that out there.
Okay.
But yeah.
You know what? Gavin Newsom didn't let him draft, so don't blame Baca, okay? It was Gavin Newsom's fault.
Yeah, although we lost a big contract in Baca, we gained a really, really fun and good player in Tino as well. And crazy how fate would have it. He ended up being randomized as the first overall pick, so that was pretty interesting. And yeah, I think it set off the Ash League in a fun way, in a great way.
Yeah.
I'm actually very happy with how everything turned out yesterday. We were planning on having video content. We decided not to do that because it was very not as entertaining as we thought it would be. but that's
There's a lot
okay.
of Mexican parties in the background.
Yeah, so we
Yeah.
assumed, but I still think everything was a success. Um, our good friend Michael Felix got Dean Blandino's pick of the year. I want to figure out, you know how like there's the Vince Lombardi trophy? I kind of want there to be like a Dean Blandino like an award. It doesn't have to be the main, but I feel like Dean Blandino's just as he's like the 13th member of
Of
the
the
Ash
That's
Ash
League.
League.
funny.
We
Yeah.
should have asked him to be in the league.
Yeah.
So Brian, why don't you let everybody know the people that you reached out to
I've
see if they'd
reached
be in our league?
I've reached out to Cardell Jones, who was the XFL quarterback for the Defenders last year, former Ohio State, I believe, national champion, and former NFL quarterback. I can't name any teams, but I'm going to take a hot take.
Chargers. I
I
think he was on the
was going
Chargers.
to say Chargers.
Yeah.
Was that in San Diego or LA?
San Diego,
Okay.
I believe. Yeah.
Isn't that John
And
Jones's brother? He has like two brothers in like the NFL or like in football.
I wouldn't know, but I know Cardell Jones is.
Check your phone before you say that.
Yeah, because I knew if I
uh,
would have checked it first, and by the time we're like, all right, by the way, guys, now video games. I'm like, hey, isn't that John Jones's brother? Like 5 minutes later.
Cardell Jones is cool because he actually responded and he was like, I'm in 3 leagues already. And the thing is, the way I hit him up on Cameo, which is $3 a text. So I was like, I'm just gonna let him be. I'm not gonna fight this anymore.
That's funny.
He gave the same answer that Mr. O gave us. Or
Yeah. And then I also, at the last minute when Baca left, I did a desperation and tried to get Ryan Leaf to join the league. He didn't
Little did
respond.
we know Lex doesn't like Ryan Leaf, so we had to
Yeah, we had to
shy away from that option.
because Ryan Leaf was going to be so down. And I
That's
did have one more, and I'm going to look it up. I'm going to look it up right now. It was before.
So fact check.
Real quick, it was Thaddeus Lewis,
Hmm.
former Rams quarterback. He didn't respond.
So Cardell Jones is not John Jones's brother. John Jones' brothers are Chandler Jones and Arthur Jones.
Oh, Chandler Jones from Arizona.
Yep, from Arizona.
Chandler
That's-
Jones, I drafted him.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that's John
Uh,
Jones' brother.
So should we give the Cardell Jones Award to Baca for not being part of the?
Yeah, I'm down.
Or-
Yeah.
But yeah, it's exciting. We're gonna be, if you're following Ash, you're not interested in fantasy football, you're still gonna have our show that's going to be promoted, but you're gonna see a lot of fantasy football stuff until at least December.
At least on Sundays, every Sunday.
Sunday, Sunday, Monday kind of thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of adult people who might have a stigma of wasting their time, so we all play video games, right? But we're either 30 or almost 30. Steven's got like what, 2 more months?
I got a month.
A month.
A month and a half. Yeah.
Big 3-0.
Yeah.
So we still play video games, but I don't know if you guys have this, but is there a stigma that 30-year-old men should not be playing video games? Like it's a waste of time.
Well, my belief is no, like it's not a waste of time. For me, it's actually like the way that I get to de-stress at the end of the day if I play or, on the weekend. Obviously, we can't all hang out in person, because of what's going on in the world. So like video games is kind of that hangout session that we would get otherwise,
Right.
What do you think society thinks?
I don't care what society thinks because they're wrong. but
Sounds
yeah,
like a lot of people voting this
Yeah.
this November.
but yes, there are times where I think video games are a waste of time. So it's kind of like it depends on when you decide to play, and if if you're not doing what you have to do. Like if I was not doing my homework or doing my reading, and I'm just playing video games, then yes, it's a waste of time. But I mean, I'm getting stuff done, and I
Yeah.
play video games. My son's asleep, so I get to de-stress. And
Well, as long as you manage your time, then you could use it
Yeah.
playing video games, right?
I think so.
I think it kind of comes like not necessarily as adults, but I think it's extended from adults. Is that when we were teenagers or kids playing video games, our parents would say it's a waste of time,
right?
and or because we're like, you're not doing this, you could be outside, you could do this or that, and then we're just playing video games and we're just enjoying ourselves, and then us enjoying that has lasted into our adulthood. And Now we have a lot of responsibility. So some people might look at like, well, playing video games. Why are you playing video games when you should be doing X, Y, and Z? But to be honest, we still get X, Y, and Z done. So I think that's that's why we reward ourselves.
Little did they know that we were just getting ready for COVID.
we were preparing for 15 years.
That's pretty good. Freaking. Well, yeah. To answer your question, I think there is still a stigma, and so it does stem from like the parents thing. So obviously, if ever like I had like my door open while playing a video game, my dad would be like, "Hey, you know, like go out, do some blah blah blah, this and that," right? Like, so it's that perception of like, oh man, this dude isn't doing anything. I think society also has like still like a stigma on video games. And I know like one of the main things that was trending like a few weeks ago was that like Joe Rogan said something super out of touch, and he just straight up. So the context of this is, you know, Joe Rogan podcast. He was interviewing another older guest, and Joe basically said like, oh yeah, like video games for example. Anyone who plays video games is just a waste of time. Like there's nothing to be gained from video games. Like if you win, like you gain nothing. And then so like Ninja got mad and responded. So like I think Ninja's like one of those small percentage of people where you could make money off of it, like from Twitch streaming. Even if you're like a mid-level Twitch streamer, you could still make a lot of money, or a living, I should say. But my stance on it is exactly what Steven said, and I forgot who originally brought up the point, whether it was Brian or Steven, like a year or two ago. But yeah, it's basically our way of, you know, Brian lives in Orange County, Steven used to live in Corona, I lived in Chino. It was our way of just hanging out when we're too lazy to go out, like pre-COVID era or during the COVID era. It's a way of hanging out with the boys and being able to do something pointless. Because I read an article like years ago, I forgot who wrote it or what it was called, but they talked about how life has so many points. You know, you have a job, maybe you get a second job, maybe you're in a master's program, you know, you have a girlfriend, just all these points of life. And like, you know, you have to clean, you have to do this and that. And sometimes as like the ninth thing, doing video or like playing video games, doing video games like it's a drug. Playing video games is
You doing them games?
yeah, you doing them games. Playing video games could be that pointless thing in your day that is just a de-stressor and kind of helps you tie your entire day and your week and your sanity together sometimes too.
So I'm going to throw this out there, and you guys can let me know if I'm wrong, right? Because we've had a lot of bonding moments as friends. But I'm going to make the hot take and say when we were having our FIFA tournaments, that's when we bonded the most. And we would I think Steven lived in Chino at this time, and then toward the end of this, he was living in Corona, and I was living in like Pomona or Rancho Cucamonga, and then I was also coming from Orange County to do this at times. But we'd all meet up at Lex's house, and we'd play FIFA and have tournaments with his brother.
Mm-hmm.
And like me and Steven bonded coaching basketball, me and Lex have bonded doing rap music and all that. But like in terms of us three together, like outside of our like Bakersfield trips, the FIFA was where I think we really bonded.
Yeah.
FIFA is what first originally brought Steven into the group to finally start off the trio, I think is what it was. FIFA was the one that did that.
And then like Fortnite, and then into like Call of Duty and all that.
Mm-hmm.
We found a way to do it where we don't have to leave the house, and that makes it easier for maybe us to hang out a little longer, if that makes sense, because we're not spending 30 minutes driving to each other's houses and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what, it's 2020, and we're using technology to hang out and do things, and a lot of people sometimes get this like weird fear of like technology's taking over people's lives and people rely on technology, but instead we embrace it and we use it as a way we can hang out, because I think a lot of people at this age start losing their friends, they start getting married, they stop and stuff, but we're still hanging out. You know, keep in mind, like, if it wasn't for video games, we would probably never sit down and talk. And because our video games are also used as meetings sometimes, like, and we would probably have never been able to do this podcast if it wasn't for us talking about it over Fortnite.
Yeah. The day that I give up video games is the day that my son beats me.
Like, just beat you up.
when
So
he beats me in a video game, that's the day where I'm like, okay, I think it might be time to put down the controller.
So there's this I'm gonna butcher this, so hopefully Lex jumps in. So there's an ASDF clip on YouTube where the guy wants to play video games with somebody and he's like, no, you always beat me. And then the guy's legitimately
Like,
punching
tell
him.
no one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Good times. And that's what I thought about. You guys have any more thoughts on the stigma of adults playing video games?
I will say this. There are times where maybe we do play video games excessively for a day, where maybe it's like, man, maybe we shouldn't have played for 4 hours. But
There was 2 weekends ago. It was with Jesse. And we got on at like, I think 9 a.m. on a Sunday or something. And sorry. I got on at like 9 a.m. on a Sunday. And I legitimately played until my girlfriend got off of work that day. And it was like 5 p.m. which got off of work. And then I had the fucking balls to ask, like, hey, can I still get on again later?
Wow, that's when you just put the bait and switch, man. It's like, oh, what'd you do today? It's like, oh, I did this, that. And, you know, I'll probably hop on later, but just for a little bit. I learned my lesson real quick.
Not talk to Jesse.
Freaking, I had a point, and then I lost it. So,
If you remember, you could just throw it back in there.
okay.
I will say this real quick though. Shout out to everybody that plays video games with us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Jesse, Cyrus, John. It's fun playing with those guys. You know, sometimes, you know, it's us three. We need a fourth, and you know, they've come and fill in. Used to be Lido when Lido used to play, but he went MIA.
Yeah, it's funny because he's
Phoenix.
technically back. It's just they keep missing each other, Steven and Lito.
Phoenix made Goon.
Yeah,
Mhm.
shouts out.
John is also in the Fantasy Football League.
Yeah, shout out to John. We got a doubleheader win the other day,
Mm-hmm.
so that's pretty good. What's Phoenix Goon's real name? I'm calling him by his gamer tag here.
I just know him as Lito's cousin or friend.
Andres.
Andres.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
So,
Shout
are
out.
you guys ready for some uninformed topics?
I think we're all ready for some uninformed topics.
Yep.
What's the first one?
The first one was, man, we're going from like a really fun video games and everything to talk about something very sad. Rest in peace to the Black Panther. That like really just came out of nowhere. It's just crazy. It makes you just like stop your life for a second and just think about how quick it can be taken from you.
He was really young.
Yeah.
Chadwick Boseman, his real name. Yeah, that's crazy. And I know like this is gonna come off as very, I don't know. I don't want it to come off as being insensitive, but one of my first thoughts was like, oh, so what happens to the Black Panther series? And did he finish filming? Did he not finish filming? And then I started thinking like, was he going through this while he was filming? And apparently he was secretly, and that's crazy that he went through all that while he was still fighting cancer.
Yeah.
Fortnite has like a little Black Panther statue in their map. Now I don't know if that was intended.
They said that was planned before all of this.
Okay, I assume so because they have like a Atman thing there too as well. Yeah, it's crazy. It's colon cancer runs in my family, and for someone who looks. This is sometimes my thought process, and this made me a little selfish. Is someone who looks as good as Chadwick Boseman does, and then someone who looks like me, and he ended up going at such a young age, makes me think like I should start doing something with my life. But yeah,
Definitely agree. Lex, your take on it?
Yeah, man, super sad because like Black Panther was not only like an amazing movie, right? It was like groundbreaking in many other ways of like, you know, all black cast and all that. And then it was released during a time where their community needed it, something, anything, right? And it served its purpose for that in the biggest way. It served its purpose as one of the best movies in general, like in a while, right? In many ways. And yeah, it sucks because I remember I just like popped up in my phone, and initially I just kind of had like that shock of like, wait, okay, someone died. What am I seeing? Is this like, and I didn't even get to the name yet, but I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, it's like I was shuffling between names, like, wait, who is this? Like, I was like, is this like Michael B. Jordan, Chadwick Boseman? It's like I was kind of like in the same universe, and it was weird because maybe it was just like my mind's way of being like scrambling my senses so much so that I was like, hey, this can't be real, you know? And then like even when you see like the colon cancer thing, you're like, I've never heard that. Like, is that public? And then you find out like he was like privately battling it this whole time, like 4 years. Yeah, it's a shocker. It's super sad. And yeah, I think just life kind of pauses for a bit, just like Steven said. But crazy stuff.
On a side note, like I don't know if anybody here watches The Boys, an Amazon Prime original show. It's based on superheroes, and season 2 just came out this last Friday. And in one of the episodes, right, it's kind of like the Justice League, and so they're bringing a new person into the Justice League, and so there's basically like the main guy who's like the leader of the they're called the Seven, and so they bring him into the gym where this guy is training. And this is a spoiler, by the way, okay? But it's funny because it just made me, so blind, right? His name's Blind Spot or something, and he's blind. And so like
Daredevil.
Yeah, he's like a daredevil. And so he like goes up to them and he's like, oh my God, the main guy's name is Homelander. He's, he's the boss or the leader, right? And so he's like, oh my God, like it's so cool to meet you or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then, Homelander's like, oh yeah. It's impressive stuff there or whatever. Then he turns to the chick who brought him and says, I just have one question for you guys though. And then he just fucking like claps both ears really hard. And the guy just starts like bleeding and screaming. And he's like, he turns to the lady. He goes, why are you bringing me this crippled? Like, we don't want it crippled in the Seven. And I just thought, oh my goodness, like really oh, it was a good scene. If you haven't checked out The Boys, like check it out. It's
Nice.
It's a good show.
It is a good show.
It's a really good show. It's the privatization of superheroes.
Nice.
Yeah, so it becomes like an organization of a big like Wall Street kind of company, and then there's these people that are trying to, I guess like trying to make it where like some people see like the secrets behind the big company and stuff like that, so people don't like praise them, I guess.
Like this company has contracts with states to have superheroes stationed there to protect their state or their city.
Mm-hmm. One last thing on Black Panther that I thought was cool. I'm paraphrasing because I don't know the direct quote, but like one of the things that he was really happy with the Black Panther franchise was the fact that like white kids and like other kids would want to be Black Panther, and he said that was a big step in terms of change, in terms of seeing like race and stuff, and I think that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. And I guess
speaking of another,
and I guess Chadwick Boseman was kind of credited with Killmonger's famous line of like, I'd rather die in the sea than live my whole life in bondage or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That was like Boseman's like genius or something like that.
Speaking of someone that we think is cool, The Rock just survived COVID. His entire family could survive COVID. What are your guys' thoughts?
It's real.
It is real.
It's real.
Yep.
It's real. If The Rock got COVID, it's real.
Oh man, I don't know why. Like in my head right now, like maybe I'm just in football mode, but I was just like, man, dude, the guy just bought the XFL. He can't be getting COVID, like. Because, like, what I think The Rock is going to do with the XFL is going to be really cool. Because I think Vince McMahon looked at it as, like, there's going to be a football league that's going to make money. Whereas The Rock really wants this to be about league for second chances for athletes, and some of them maybe in their first chance because he never got that when he had a dream of playing football.
Yeah.
So I think that really puts like a how should I put it, like a purpose for the XFL. I think that's what
Yeah.
the XFL didn't have before. Like we all knew it was supposed to be like a minor league to the NFL,
Mhm.
but like Vince McMahon would never admit that, you know. So like I think this now kind of like gives it a purpose. I know that's a little off topic on the COVID thing, but I just thought like since The Rock bought the XFL, I think like a month and a half ago, we
Mhm.
never discussed that. I just thought I'd throw that in now that we're bringing them up. But
Yeah.
yeah.
It's crazy.
Jumanji. I don't know. Just all right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Do you guys have any thoughts on The Rock with COVID before we move on to the next one?
If you haven't checked out his, I think it's like an 8-minute long video of him addressing COVID and just different things that he did, I would recommend watching it because it really like, I mean, The Rock's The Rock, right? You look at him, he's a fucking wall, dude. Like,
He's invincible, right?
he's your modern day Superman. So
He's the
Um,
people's champ. Like, you know, like
yeah, so I would check it out. Definitely check it out and see his cut. He has a couple tips in there for you to how to avoid COVID and just what to do if you have it. And
so. This next one, David Blaine. Was it flying? So I didn't even care enough.
so
Really,
backstory.
yeah.
Lex sends this picture of a guy with balloons in the air in the desert, right?
Yeah.
He says it to our group chat. I have no idea who it is or whatever, and he puts like a little caption under it. So like come to find out it's David Blaine, right? And so I'm like, oh shit, David Blaine, he does really cool magic tricks and illusions. And I'm like, okay, cool, like I wonder what this illusion is, right? But it's really not an illusion. It's just basically he flew up in the air with balloons and then he parachuted down, which I told Lex, that's not that impressive because you have a parachute. I said, if he went up in the air with no parachute, beat the record of elevation and then came back down, now you're talking a different story, the parachute. But I mean, he had a parachute, so the whole time, all you had to do, let it out and he's good.
But did you see the halfway point? So
I didn't see the halfway point, though.
David
no.
Blaine got up to like 9,000, 10,000 feet elevation, right? So you
Right,
look down,
yeah,
super
yeah.
scary. What
Right.
he has to do in his hand is a string. He has to pull the string down with the parachute. And he has to get into it in the air, 10,000 feet elevation.
Oh,
He
see,
did
now
one
that's
leg at a time. Yeah.
now that's a little bit different. I thought it was
Yeah.
already on him. Okay.
Yeah, because I remember too, like when he takes off, he has this like big fat like jacket or whatever. So there's like a bunch of stuff in there. And I
Mhm.
was thinking like, oh, because like I was kind of like following it beforehand, right? Because I'm
Mhm.
actually like a David Blaine fan.
Mhm.
And so I was thinking, oh, they ended up deciding to put the parachute on him on takeoff. But no, it wasn't until like 9,000 feet elevation. And he started doing that. And dude, I started sweating and like I gotta send you that section of it. It's pretty scary stuff. But
I think it was absolutely stupid. Hey, you said this happened in Arizona?
Yeah.
We just had our first like 116-degree weather day yesterday in the Inland Empire. We'll get onto that again in a few minutes, but like, and then he's gonna do that in Arizona, which Arizona just handles 116 degrees for 6 months of the year.
Yeah.
So it's
this is outside of my expertise, but for some reason it was like 70 degrees. The higher he got, it like got colder the higher he got. So I'm not sure how that works. I'm sure that there's like a scientific explanation for it, but
here's a scientific explanation. You don't need to go do these stunts for people to give a shit about you. Like I didn't care, and the only way I would have cared was if we had to open up this lightning round segment with a man. R.I.P. David Blaine, man. He fell off those balloons. That sucks. It's crazy. I didn't know too much about his career, but I know he was in some movies. Man, that's crazy. That's nuts.
It's funny.
But no, he survived it. I thought it was stupid beforehand. It was stupid when he got back down. and I didn't even watch it. I just know about it because you guys send me stuff on Instagram. Sorry. I just had to.
Okay, so he's 8,000 feet in the air when he does this.
Mhm.
I just watched the clip right now. So yeah, he does. But he's already tied to like the balloons and everything. Yes, it's dangerous if you fell, but like he's not really like Mary Poppins the shit out of the balloons, So I mean, it's a pretty cool, stunt.
Yeah. It's visually nice. And like it's crazy because there's a lot of, and this is just me being a nerd about it, but there's a lot of other intricacies that go into it. When he's like 20,000 feet in the air, he has to like hyperventilate, like because if he like just breathes normally, or if he responds to his radio person in his ear, he's gonna like just like pass out.
Mhm.
So like he has to go like when he's like way up in the air. But that's just kind of like nerd stuff.
Do you guys remember when we were really young, probably, before 13, maybe even after, Fox or like ABC
Yes.
or
Are you
something?
gonna say the
would
show
put
where
a-
they show you how to do things?
Yeah, and
Right.
then like you'd be watching that like, oh, and I think like in a weird way that kind of like took the magic out of magic or whatever. Like I don't know, like because like then it's kind of like Santa Claus, right? You start really like, oh, these guys really aren't doing these things. There's a trick. It's a trick, right? And then as an adult, so now every time I see something or somebody's trying to like hold their breath for an extended amount of time underwater or something, I'm always just like, I don't know what the trick is, but just tell me the trick. I don't really care about what you're doing.
Yeah.
What about like the David Blaine frog trick where he consumes like a bunch of water, and
Mhm.
like the trick is like by drinking a bunch
regurgitates.
of water, he's hydrating this frog that is in his stomach already. So he
Mhm.
already pre-plans this. Like for example, before the Joe Rogan show, he interviewed for like an hour and a half, and then he's like, oh okay, so let's do this trick, and he had it's funny because like on live he had like the hardest time doing it. It took him like 7 minutes because like he kept regurgitating extra water, and he kept like having to spit it out in a bucket, but then finally the frog came out. So it's like a thing where like a physical thing that I guess is possible, but also like I get Brian's perspective too, is like why even to begin with. But and then he has like a thing where like, he puts like an ice pick through his arm, and he
Mhm.
has someone like, and yeah, it's crazy. Like I think that's why I like David Blaine, because yeah, he does do like the fun card tricks, whatever. Like he'll be like, "Oh, was this your card?" And it's like, "Oh, it's under Rajon Rondo's watch." That's so crazy, you know. But but he also does like stuff that's just borderline physical physical attempts, physical
Mhm.
things, right? I think the frog might be one of them. I think like even the balloons is one of them.
So do you think he ever gets a real job? Do you think like he just becomes like executive director of magic shit at some point? Like, do you think he like
It's on
because
his desk,
like
executive director
he's
of
just
magic
gonna do
shit.
this for the rest of his life? Like, I don't I don't know how flying in balloons. Yeah, it gives him like I guess some credibility in the year 2020 because we all forgot who David Blaine was. But like, how does that make you money?
Dang, Brian's going hard on David Blaine right now, man.
I think he makes pretty decent money being an illusionist.
I haven't. He's pretty good at it because I don't see it. I don't know what's going on.
Let's see.
Dang, dude.
That's what's great about the internet today is you can search
Yeah.
things real quick.
Because I'm assuming he's got a pretty decent lifestyle, but even famous people lose money after a while and start doing stuff.
So
You think-
just pulling
I-
up a quick Google search, it says he's worth about 40 million.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, I mean,
I should start doing some stupid shit. My bad.
he does have a
Hey.
show. He does have a show in Vegas though too, right?
Yes.
So I mean, he
think.
probably makes money there too. I mean, hey, dress up as Ronald
So-
McDonald and make 40 mil.
Yeah. All right, so I guess we're split on Ash. So we're 1-2 on David Blaine. I'm a fan. I think it's fun. It's I guess it has like that video games aspect of life for me. It's fun to just be like, huh,
This is why boomers stigmatize games because you compare real life to them.
dang, bad guy.
I
All right, well,
enjoy
I'm a David
Blaine.
Blaine fan, so
I enjoy David Blaine. I'm not saying I'm not a fan. I'm just saying like some of his stuff is overly marketed, like death defying, and would I do it? Probably not. I mean, I'm scared of heights, so
Yeah. I think maybe that's why my thing is like people do these things to it's that dancing with the devil thing, and then sometimes I find out that they weren't even doing that, and so you had our attention, if that makes sense.
have you ever
I don't know.
danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Have you ever got hit in the jugular with a tennis ball?
Not yet.
I side story. I used to hit I used to have a baseball bat, and I used to pretend I was a baseball player, and I'd have tennis balls, and I would hit them. And remember where I used to live in Chino?
Mhm.
And I would hit him, and I would always hit him over into Julian's yard.
Oh gosh.
That's his neighbor across the street. If
Yeah.
you're wondering.
He played on this basketball team, actually.
That's hilarious that you're rocking that jersey.
So explain to everybody real quick what you're wearing.
I'm wearing, I believe this was the Average Joe's basketball jersey from our adult league, where we played in probably like 5 years ago.
Maybe even longer.
And I still have it. And I have this weird feeling in the back of my head that I have Lex's jersey somewhere.
Probably because I don't have it.
I don't know.
Because I
where
remember
it's
I
at.
gave it to someone to have them borrow on like the years following when I didn't play.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
The mystery of the missing jersey. So Brian mentioned tennis ball to the jugular. So the number one men's tennis player in the world, Novak. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Djokovic or something. It's Djokovic. I don't know how to pronounce that. Right? He's Serbian. Anyways, real quick synopsis. He gets upset. He taps a ball with his racket towards like the wall. There's an older lady who's standing against the wall, a line judge. She gets clocked in the throat, falls to the ground. I think she's unable to continue. And because of this, he gets disqualified. Yeah, and
wait, he got disqualified? I thought it was just about the jugular thing. I did not
No.
know he got disqualified for this.
he got disqualified. Let me read you. It's called defaulted. He got defaulted after accidentally hitting a ball at a line judge. How silly is that?
Like, is it like a thing? Like, is that
It's
kind
a rule.
Is it like a technical foul kind of thing? Like,
Yeah, it's a rule. I think in tennis, if you like hit a ball at a line judge or you do something in anger, you're automatically disqualified.
So he's out of the whole tournament.
So he lost that round. Yeah, so he's out. I don't know how the tournaments work, but yeah, he's out.
That's crazy. I did not know that. I thought it was just like she got hit in the jugular. I'm not gonna lie to you. When we thought about it as a topic, I'm like, what can we say outside of that? She just got hit in the jugular, and we wouldn't like getting hit in our jugular. But
You should have been paying attention.
I did not know that he just got totally taken out of the tournament for that. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's.
Because
Not
I
good.
think it looked like he was frustrated from the video I saw. He looked like he was frustrated, but it didn't look like there was intention. Does that make sense?
Yeah, the old lady just should have been stronger.
It looked like a young girl. I thought it was like a ball boy position.
No,
Actually.
dude, she's an older lady.
They said that?
She's got the same hair as Chris. No.
Oh man.
She has gray hair. She looks old. Short
Mhm.
haircut.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking at a picture right now. Yeah, she looks older.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, he got kicked out because of that. So
How do you feel? Do you think he deserved to get kicked out? Based on this is uninformed topics. We know nothing about tennis.
if it's in the rules, if there's a rule there that says hitting a line judge or hitting a judge, is automatic disqualification, then yeah, he should be disqualified.
Even if it's intentional or non-intentional?
Right, yeah, even if it's intentional or non-intentional.
Like what if you were actually making a play and it hit a line judge?
Well, see, if it was in the middle of a play, that's different than it being dead ball. You're walking back to do a serve or something, and then you slam the ball into the wall.
All right. That makes sense.
Like
Is that an
somebody
anger?
got a technical for, I think it was Luca got a technical for throwing the ball at the ref
Yeah.
or something like that, right? And I mean, I'm sure it wasn't intentional, but it wasn't in play or anything. So
But it was out of like emotion still.
mm-hmm.
So from what the commentator said in the game, because obviously I watched it, it's because he was jawing at the refs the entire game, so they already knew he was upset with the refs.
Right.
And then he threw the ball at the ref instead of
Mhm.
like handing the ball to the ref,
Right.
and that's why they called the T.
Well, he didn't. I don't know if he threw it because the video he hit it with
hit
his
it.
racket. Yeah.
No,
Which
I'm talking about Luca.
Oh, Luca. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the tennis, but
Yeah.
yeah. See, like in that context, like Should be a technical foul. Like in basketball, they don't automatically kick you out, but
Interesting. We learned a lot about tennis right now.
yeah.
I was watching Serena Williams play just right now, and I had no idea I thought I knew how the points worked, and then I thought Serena lost, and then all of a sudden she was up by like three sets or whatever. I don't know. All I know is Serena Williams is the best or something like that. So I should keep
Or
that
something
for
like that.
consideration.
You know who else is the best? California when it comes to wildfires.
Dude, the IE
That's wild.
making the news for all the wrong reasons.
Yep.
I love this.
Let's let them know why the IE made the news.
So I've been hearing a little bit about it over the past couple of days, but then when you kind of read the trending topic title, it's pretty wild. So number one trending on Twitter right now, a title reads, "Explosive device used at gender reveal party causes fire and mass evacuations in California." So this is the humongous fire that's been going on in like San Bernardino and Yucaipa over the past like couple of days, maybe even a week. And now they finally zeroed in. Oh yeah, it was a gender reveal smoke bomb.
And if you look outside, it looks really like
Oh yeah.
it just looks bad. It looks like the apocalypse. Like
The
it's
past
just,
2 days, it's looked orange out,
So
and I thought it was
orange,
because of the
yeah.
117-degree weather, but
Yeah.
not really.
So I did not know there was a fire in the area until I checked the weather last night. And for whatever reason, I was trying to check the weather for Anaheim, but I landed on Chino first, and it said smoke. It's like how it says cloudy or whatever.
Yeah.
It said smoke, and I was like, "Is there a fire in the IE?" And then I checked, and there was.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because like Yucaipa is like 45 miles away from you guys. Like that's crazy that you guys still get a heavy doses of smoke in that area.
yeah, it's coming down.
I wonder what it was, boy or girl.
A mistake.
So do you feel so far, before we make any inappropriate comments, has anybody gotten hurt? Do we know that?
No, I don't know if there's a death toll or anything like that. Obviously, there is evacuation.
Okay.
People had to evacuate probably their homes,
Mhm.
and so there might be property damage. So, I mean, it'd be interesting to see if they take legal action with these people that did this. Imagine all you wanted to do was know if you were having a boy or a girl. And
Yeah.
Well,
I think gender
do
reveal parties
know-
are stupid, but
Yeah.
Well, do we know what the device was?
I don't know. Probably one of like those popper things.
It
Or
was like an
something.
explosion thing, smoke
Yeah.
explosion.
Well, it's the hottest weekend of the year,
Mhm.
and they decided to. Well, I guess like if you planned it for months, you just like suck it up, right?
Yeah.
But that's crazy. Damn. Yeah, because like I do believe isn't there like I could be wrong about this, but like in the wildfires in the past, like let's just say someone like they found out that it was started by a cigarette that
Mhm.
was like dropped on like a dry brush or whatever.
Mhm.
They actually take that person does have legal consequences, right?
Mhm.
That's what if I recall.
Yeah,
Even
they have
if it was
to.
by mistake.
They have to like pay, basically like the damages and stuff.
That's crazy.
Yeah. This
So
kid's
now I
already.
kinda feel
This kid's
bad
already
for
bringing
these
more debt
people.
into.
Oh no.
Because like you had no idea that this thing was going to cause a California wildfire, but you sometimes gotta kind of like read the room, like where you're at, how hot it is,
Right.
But I guess sometimes people don't think of like, well, this specifically is going to cause a countywide fire, But
Well, here we are.
I.e. making the news for all the wrong reasons.
Yep.
That should be a segment.
Typically, that's what happens.
Yeah, so I think we're well over an hour now. I lost count. Brian's going extra hard on my boy David, and it's getting hot. So I think this is good. Good time to wrap up. Do we have any other last ones or?
Nope, that was it. That was awkward.
That was awkward.
Spent an hour. All right.
That's what happens when we use the pro account and we don't have time management skills.
Yeah. For real, dude. We're about to mess around and hit like a 4-hour podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
We didn't even have a topic.
Exactly.
We had one topic going into it. All right.
That's so good. Alrighty.
Peace out.
All right. Catch you guys on the next one.
Okay.